Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Welcome in, Winnipeg High School Hockey League fans, into episode 2 of the official Winnipeg High School Hockey League podcast, Scholasticks. I'm your host, Graham, the G Show Forsyth. We're brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Terraco, and Movement Fitness and Performance, a new sponsor to the team this year. You're watching this episode on G Show Productions on our YouTube channel. We're about to link it on our website as well at preseason.ca. Great week of content coming up for you all. In this episode, a bit later than usual, but it's been quite a day, Winnipeg High School Hockey League fans. Quite a day indeed. But on to bigger and better things now, which, we got a really busy weekend coming up. Going to be in Portage La Prairie, leaving tomorrow actually to get there to do some run-throughs and stuff. But yeah, big weekend starting on Friday morning for the 2025 Central Plains Capitals female U18 AAA showcase. 11 teams in total will be competing this weekend as they continue to tune up and get ready for this year's regular season action in their respective leagues. 8 MFHL teams, 2 Saskatchewan teams, and a CSSHL team all competing in Portage La Prairie this weekend. Be sure to check out all the coverage if you want to check it out on gshowproductions.uscreen.io, as those are prices for this weekend's content. But as for this episode, Scholasticks episode 2, going to be joined by 2 head coaches from around the league, from a Platinum Promotions Division high school head coach from last season, as well as a Winnipeg Free Press Division head coach who's also a champion. More on him coming up, but first off, Ryan Gruener, head coach of the River East Kodiaks, is going to be joining this edition of the Scholasticks podcast to talk about last year's run a bit in the league playoffs as well as the provincials, talking about this year's roster, the things to like about it, and what training camp is going to have in store for this year's Kodiaks team. And nonetheless, no matter what you may take away from this interview, no doubt that head coach of the Kodiaks, Ryan Gruener, is one confident man in his group of young men. That's coming up all next on Scholasticks episode 2. Enjoy, everybody. Head coach of the River East Kodiaks, Ryan Gruener, joining this edition of the Winnipeg High School Hockey League podcast, Scholasticks. Ryan, impressive season put up by River East last year. Went on a deep run in the provincials. Same with the playoffs, of course. Falling short both times, but going up against really good competition. Take me back to last year, the success this team had throughout the 2024-2025 season in the Platinum Promotions Division.
Yeah, we had a really good year. We played well during the season and got into the playoffs and got into a very tough matchup with Westwood in the semifinals. We went to third game and it was a very close game and unfortunately lost. So we didn't move on to the final, but we were hosting the provincial, so we moved on to the provincials, and provincials we did quite well. We won our division and ended up beating Westwood in the semis and going to the final against Vincent Massey, and then unfortunately losing to Vincent Massey in the final. But it was a good year.
Yeah, and I mean, being able to be a host of a provincial championship and go on the run this team did, what was that experience like with the types of crowds this team was seeing out there, the type of support Reese was getting throughout that
Oh,
time?
it was great. We had in our home rink at Gateway, it was full, like just no room, just standing all over the place. And then the provincial final was really, really great. We had so much of the student body out and parents, fans out from our area to come cheer us on. It was a really memorable experience for the team.
And of course, led by some really great players. Nolan Fielding had 67 points, 24 games played, led the whole Platinum Promotions division. And other players stepped up, right? And
Oh
notably
yeah.
a returnee this year in Gavin Ulrich. But yeah, take me through what it was like having such a talented, high potent offensive group to coach last year as you guys
Yeah,
all.
it was great. We had some really high end players, like you mentioned, Nolan Fielding, Leon Hansman. We had a late addition for him from AAA. He was a great addition for our team. Like you said, the Ulrich brothers. Um, we were very, very deep in scoring, and our defensemen were quite offensive as well. So yeah, we had a lot of firepower up front, and it was very exciting to watch on a nightly basis.
And of course, the highest scoring team last season in the Platinum Promotions division. Defensively, pretty solid, but just in terms of getting some info from you before the season starts, you had noted that goaltending and steady defense is going to be the team's biggest strength, and producing offense is going to be a bit of a weakness this year. Take me through what it's been like getting to see the talent and everyone that's come to camp so far this year, and what the makeup could be of this year's team.
Yeah, we were going to be very strong in net. Finn Bjornsson is returning goalie for his third year, and we also got a another grade 12 goalie who it's undecided yet who it's going to be, but it's going to be very another solid netminder. On defense, we got Reese Unra and Levi Minuk, who are returning players. Who are both Reese was on the All Star team for the provincial, so both of them are going to be carrying some heavy loads for us. And we're pretty deep on defense in tryouts. Up front, uh, one of our top returners would be Easton Gervais. He had a really good year last year. And we got some new additions coming in from AAA who I think will be very successful uh, playing in the league this year.
Like you mentioned, strong decor, strong goaltending tandem with the chance to add some youth there. But how much of an advantage do you feel like this is going to give this team that maybe a bit more inexperienced up front, where they could rely on that strong defensive core, defensive play to translate to the offensive side of things more so this year?
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think we're going to be a much more balanced team. So in some ways, not that like we were deep, very deep last year, but I think it's going to be a far more scoring by committee this year, not just between five or six guys. We're gonna It's going to be spread out a lot more. And like I said, I think we're going to have to rely a lot on our strong goaltending and some really steady defense to produce some offense as well.
Back to the goaltending, speaking about how a grade nine could be coming into the fold here this season, how important do you feel that is to supply this team with good young talent to allow for them to grow and when the time comes for maybe their grade 11, 12 year, they already have that experience under their belt to be able to produce down the line. Is that something this coaching staff yourself emphasizes when there is an opportunity to do so like this year?
Well, usually, to be honest with you, like we really lean towards grade 12 players. They're just more experienced, more mature physically, mentally. We're we we take sometimes some grade 10s, but it's not very often we do. It's more you'd have to be quite exceptional to be playing on our team at grade 10 because we're a majority a grade 12 hockey team.
Right. And of course, being in the Platinum Promotions division, well, it's the top of the top here in the Winnipeg High School
Yeah.
Hockey League. And River East, among the top teams last year. But this team, of course, regular season, there's going to be the tournaments, like the rookie tournament after the season that you guys will play in. But a tournament in Ottawa coming up this year. How huge
Yeah,
will that be to be able to get out of the province for a bit, play some different competition as
yeah,
well?
it's nice to head out. Last year we were in Niagara Falls, and that was one of the best tournaments we've been to. So we're looking forward to going out to Ottawa this year and having some fun out there and getting some good competition, hopefully. And the boys, I hope, will enjoy themselves and make some memories out there and have a good time.
Well, as for now, this team gets set to, of course, take a look at what type of talent they have to make the decision for the final cuts, which will be coming up near the end of this month. 35 players tried out this year, from what you told me off
Mhm.
air. Tell me about what camp has been like so far. What's impressed you so far from this year?
Well, I think just the high rate of play. Like we have a lot of guys who are pretty good hockey players. Or everyone out on the ice is a strong player. So it's tough. It's going to be tough to make some decisions, especially when we get down to the end. But it's good to have that problem when you have that many guys out and you're allowed to, and you're able to have some choices.
Phenomenal year last year. Couldn't have gone better, except for, maybe a few things like a championship, maybe in the
Yeah,
provincials would have been sweet. But
yeah.
of course, each year is different in some ways. This year, like we've talked about, kind of a flip in terms of a steady decor, a strong decor, strong goaltending, and the offensive group taking a bit of a hit. But what's the expectations in your mind for this team this year? You feel like this is a type of group that could get back to a similar spot as last year?
Well, I think so. It's always tough at the beginning of the year. You don't know what any other team really has. I anticipate us to be a top five hockey team again this year. So, as you know, once you get in the playoffs, you get on a roll, anything can happen. You get some timely scoring, some great goaltending, and who knows what can happen. But I think we'll be a competitive hockey team for sure this year.
And we certainly saw that last year. River East proving that they could make it to a Final Four, which that's exactly what they did. Can't wait to be able to cover this team this season, get to watch some of the games. Of course, guided by their head coach and Ryan Gruener, joining this edition of the Winnipeg High School Hockey League podcast. Ryan, thanks so much for taking the time and best of luck moving forward this year.
You're very welcome, Graham. Thanks.
And that's head coach of the River East Kodiaks, Ryan Gruener, joining this edition of the Winnipeg High School Hockey League podcast, Scholasticks. His squad going to be in preseason action tomorrow. As for River East, they'll be taking on Selkirk, 3:30 p.m. at Gateway. So be sure to make it down to the rink tomorrow if you're able to during that time to catch some preseason action. Speaking of preseason action from around the Winnipeg High School Hockey League, there's been a few scores that have been reported this week. The Barracudas, College Belleville, a rematch against the College Jean Sauvé Olympians, this time in Saltdale, and this time it was the roadside, and the Olympians taking home the victory, getting revenge on that loss that they had suffered to College Jean Sauvé a week before. As for the Westwood Warriors and the Garden City Gophers, they took on each other in preseason action today. That game went at 4:15 p.m. Gonna see if we have the results coming up in about a week or so for that. Actually, next episode comes out Friday, so a bit more than a week from now. We'll update you on what's been going on. And by the way, the Sturgeon Heights Huskies boys team ended up going to a sauna and doing a little cold plunge there. All part of the recovery process. Cool to see them finding some alternatives to get the body right before this season truly gets going, to the regular season before we know it. Speaking of a team that had a pretty solid regular season last year, but their coach saying that, the standing that they had earned, fourth place, wasn't quite indicative of how strong that team was. And man, this is a team that proved that yeah, maybe they should have been ranked a bit higher. Everything came together for this team at the end of the season, become Winnipeg Free Press Division champions, and that's the Shaftesbury Titans. Dana Plantje, head coach of this squad, comes on the show to talk about last year, talking about this year's group, touching on the expectations and all that good stuff. That's coming up next on Scholasticks. Before we throw it to that interview with Dana, we're going to throw it to a commercial from Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. More from us after that interview, or from myself, as I should say. But first, it's Dana Plantje joining us after this commercial. Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, The Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Head coach of the Winnipeg Free Press defending champion Shaftesbury Titans, and Dana Plantje joining this edition of the Scholasticks podcast. Dana, when we take a look at last season, this Shaftesbury team was fourth place heading in, but as we know, playoffs, it doesn't really matter where you're seated. A phenomenal run for this team, taking down great teams along the way. Take me back to what a time it was last year when this team became champions in the spring.
Yeah, I think the end of the regular season standings weren't really indicative of what we felt we had for a team. Being fourth place, we told the boys early on in the season that the worst enemy they were going to face all year was themselves, and figuring out the locker room and where they fit into the team was going to be huge for them and their ability to be successful. And we went through a little bit of adversity through the regular season, and when we hit playoffs, fortunately, we just got everything going the way we wanted. Everything clicked. Guys found their role, and we had a bunch of players step up, particularly when we got to the championship series against CSLR. And it just everything was firing. Our goaltender played out of his mind. Our seniors played absolutely amazing. Like I said, a couple of character players stepped up real big for us, and were really pivotal in us securing the championship last year.
Yeah, it really sounds like this team caught fire at the right time and elevated their game in the most important time of the season. Just from a coaching standpoint, being able to know that you believe it and then to actually see it. Describe that feeling. A lot of pride, I assume.
Oh, absolutely. For some of those guys that have been on the team for multiple seasons, like an example, our captain was a fourth year player now for the team, and he'd seen the low of the lows when we first came back from COVID. I think that first season when he first joined the team, we I think won 2 games all season long. So that's a pretty low, and to go all the way to winning a championship in your grade 12 year is the epitome of the highest high you can achieve in that league. And um, when you see that success for those boys, you're happy for them and you're proud of what you accomplished as a group. And I mean, it all again is done together. I mean, our team motto is always better together. And I think that championship embodied that.
You just spoke about, back at the time when this program had only won 2 games, being a part of that journey and getting to see, those players specifically that were a part of the building process to get to a championship level. What was that like seeing that all come together throughout these past few years in terms of building towards that championship season last year?
Yeah, I think coming off of COVID and having to pause hockey and pause life, frankly, was a challenge for everybody, and not knowing what we were going to have for the hockey team, and how long it was even going to last for, with just uncertainties surrounding COVID, and trying to restart a program again, and not having any returning players at that point, and growing the team. We had some really high caliber players come to the team to try out from the start, which was fantastic. And we worked hard and played hard, but there was always something in the way, just a better opponent we ran into in the playoffs, or just, injury trouble. Um, the various things happen, as it does with every team in a high school team in any sport, frankly.
Yeah, for sure. And battling through all that adversity to get to the top of the mountain last year was the Shaftesbury team, years in the making that championship. But this year going into camp, of course, around 10 2007 born players last year that graduated out, but still a good returning core in a way coming back. Some players familiar with, the systems and last year's team. Talk about what camp's been like so far, though. What type of group we're kicking up over there in Shaftesbury.
We've got a good group, really fun kids to be around. We've got, again, 9 returning players, so we're not rebuilding like we were back in COVID days, so that's always great. And the core group is an awesome group of kids. They're and young men, frankly, and they're really buying in quickly. They want to turn this team into the team they want it to be, so they're putting their fingerprints on things, talking with the players that are new to the program, and we've had some really good energy, lots of good pace. The drills have been good. We've got our exhibition matchups scheduled for next week, so those are exciting to see what the boys do when they step on the ice in a game scenario. But so far, camp's been really good, really promising, new guys out on the ice, and we're looking forward to another season in the league.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, regular season, it'll be here before we know it, coming up in October. But as for, you know, this year's team on paper, I guess, coming in, what do you feel are some of the strengths that this coaching staff, yourself and the others, can build off of from last year and into this year to put out the best team possible?
I think one of the things that we have going for us is we have always prided ourselves on our speed. So I think that we have some really capable speed skating players that can handle the puck at that speed, which is good. We have some really good shooters on our team from what we've got returning and from some of the new prospects out there. But I think the best thing that we have going for us is that everybody's listening, everybody's buying in. So again, following that mantra, we have better together is key for us. We preach that from day one, and I think that the fact that the boys are willing to listen and to buy in this early on, it's going to make for a successful season for us. I mean, not necessarily in the wins and losses column, but just with the
Right.
effort we put on the ice every single game.
Right, and that effort's so huge and leading to positive things. Excited to see what this Shaftesbury team is going to be able to do this year, but of course, still building the team exhibition matchups coming up. Take the viewers through what the road is through the exhibition here for Shaftesbury to make their final cuts.
Yeah, for sure. So we've got an exhibition matchup on Thursday next week. So that's the 25th versus John Taylor, and that's at Varsity View Arena. And then we're on the road for our second exhibition matchup at Glenwood Arena playing against Windsor Park.
Oh, right on. So a couple matchups there. You listed the arenas and the times. So Winnipeg High School Hockey League fans, if you want to check out some Shaftesbury hockey here in the preseason, be sure to check out those games at those days and those times. Dana Plantje joining this edition of the Scholastics podcast. Thank you so much, Coach, for coming on, and can't wait to see this team in action this season.
Thank you for having me.
Dana Plantje, head coach of the defending Winnipeg Free Press Division champions. That is Division 2 in the Winnipeg High School Hockey League. Is, yeah, a great run this team on went last season, and quite a strong team. Really good experience on last year's team too. One of the highest scoring teams in the division, third most goals, only behind the number one seeded team through the regular season last year in the Garden City Gophers, and two less goals than Leo Remillard, the team that Shaftesbury ended up beating in the finals. And yeah, Shaftesbury also a very strong defensive team last year, as they ranked fifth least in goals against given up last year in 24 regular season games with 80. And as we take a look at how this postseason went for this Shaftesbury team, the record they had an undefeated run, 8-0, special to run the table as they put up the goals 35-4 and dominant defensively with only 18 goals against. very impressive stuff from last year's Shaftesbury Titans team, and looking to defend that title this year. And going to be interesting to see what division they end up placing in. My money right now, though, probably staying in the Winnipeg Free Press division. And as for some preseason news, as we continue to talk about that, as for Westwood and Garden City, the score was actually posted on Westwood's Instagram account on their story about just under an hour ago now. 4-2 was the final for Westwood. It was a Platinum Promotions division team from last year, and Westwood taking on the best team through the regular season in the Winnipeg Free Press from last year in Garden City. And speaking of Westwood, very strong program that they've had for a very long time. League champions back in 2010, and they've been finalists for 3 of the past 4 seasons, 2022, 2024, and most recently last year, when they ended up losing to the Vincent Massey Trojans in the final. Of course, the provincial champions from last year in Vincent Massey. But as for the Lendar Kodiaks, look at their gloves. We showed you their threads last week, and yeah, great to see this. Their program giving their players pro-like experience, giving them team gloves like that. You absolutely love to see it. And as for some more preseason action, it was CPET who ended up beating Gabriel Raw, the Cavs, 7-3 in a recent preseason game. Preseason will continue to roll along here as we continue to count down until the start of the 2025-2026 Winnipeg High School Hockey League season. And for us, we got plenty of content before the high school hockey season even starts, as we've been showcasing our U-Screen link throughout this episode. That's where you'll be able to watch this week's Central Plains Capital Showcase, as some of the best teams from female hockey are going to be in action. All 8 teams from the MFHL will be in play. 2 teams from Saskatchewan and the Weyburn Goldwings and the Prince Albert Northern Bears, and CSSHL team from Manitoba too, and Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy will be in the mix. Be sure to check out gshowproductions.uscreen.io for more information today on what type of games you'll be able to see, how many games you'll be able to watch. We're going to have 14 scheduled this week for that tournament, which, quite a lot of hockey coming our way, and it's only going to get busier as this season goes along. And as for us, the Winnipeg High School Hockey League podcast, Scholasticks, we're going to be back next week for more content coming up on Friday. But before we send you off, we're going to throw it to a promo screen for one last time, and then I'll have some final words on episode 2 of Scholasticks here on your home for Winnipeg High School Hockey League content on G Show Productions on gshow.ca. Well, you made it to the end of this edition of the Scholasticks podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you did tonight, I saw we had a few people watching tonight's episode live. We do appreciate your support. It means a lot to us, and we hope that you tune in to next week's episode 3. So we'll be returning to podcasting for this podcast on a Friday. Reason we moved it back 2 days this week, I guess moved it forward 2 days, is because we got a busy weekend ahead, as we're gonna be broadcasting 5 games, I believe, on Friday. So thought it would be best to have this podcast air on this Wednesday. But great to know we have some fans, in particular of a CPET fan watching this. Saw CPET W's in the chat, which is great to see. But speaking of the guests that joined tonight's edition of the Scholasticks podcast, thank you to Dane Plantje as well as Ryan Gruener for coming on and being the guest. Plantje, the head coach of the Shaftesbury Titans, and Gruener, head coach of the River East Kodiaks. We'll have details on the guest list, the content for next episode coming up before the episode airs next week on Friday. Stay tuned for the details, and not only that, but what time it's going to be coming out. Most likely going to be at 12 p.m., so a noon release, but not quite sure yet. Next week's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait for it. We'll do it all again in about 9 days from now for episode 3 of the Scholastics podcast. But until then, Winnipeg High School Hockey League fans, I've been your host, Graham the G Show Forsyth. Special thanks to Tara Co., Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, and Movement Fitness and Performance for sponsoring this episode. Thank you to you, the viewer, for tuning into this one. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one, everybody. Take care. Graham the G Show Forsyth. Wishing you a great rest of your night. And yeah, we'll see you in about 9 days. Take care.